What is going on, all you Pokemon collecting maniacs out there? This is Ryan, the Pika Papa, and earlier this week we did our normal monthly series where we looked at the Scarlet and Violet era and how those top 20 singles cards and booster box prices have moved month over month. Except this month we did it just a little bit differently. Instead of looking at the whole generation, we decided to look at the 5 biggest sets and how those had moved. And then we did a deep dive into 2 of the biggest cards from each of those 5 sets and how those prices were moving. And I thought it was a very important thing to do because of the way everything is starting to soften, right? In that video, we saw out of those 5 sets, top 20 cards from each, so 100 total cards there. Really only 10 or 12 of them were up in price month over month. So that means the vast majority of cards are dropping, and we're seeing that in Scarlet and Violet and Sword and Shield as well. And for me, that's exciting. Like, this is when I actually ramp up my buying because, listen, sometimes inevitably, because we all love this hobby, we're going to buy at all-time highs. And in the long run, 5, 10, 15 years, it's going to be fine. Most of these cards will set new all-time highs far into the future. So it is what it is. But when we know as a whole, like organically, the entire market is starting to come down, that's when I lick my chops and I get super excited. So I follow that overall video up with a video like we're doing today where we're talking about specific cards from Scarlet and Violet that I think represent some phenomenal long-term opportunities. So I'm very excited to do that today. But the other thing I got to say before we get into this is when the market starts to downturn, I'm just not spewing money all over the place, picking up all these random Pokemon cards. I get very focused. I get really deep into the fundamentals because you can get burned if you don't understand exactly what you're buying in a downward market. You can get caught in a tailspin and buy some cards that don't have as quick a recovery as you or I would like. So today we're going to talk about support lines. We're going to talk about leveraging other videos from this channel to help us make sure that we're making some really educated decisions when it comes to spending our money, because I know how hard you work for yours. I know how hard I work for mine, and I know we all want to feel good when we spend it. So before we get into the individual cards, I got to say, if you get into this, if you have fun, if you enjoy hearing more about the why versus just the what, hit that subscribe button or give us a thumbs up. We got a small channel here. Those 2 things go a really long way in helping us out, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. So I'm going to kick the door down and start off with literally one of my favorite cards over the last 2 years. I've talked about this card ad nauseum, so it's only fitting that we start the video off with it today. That's the Charizard Special Illustration Rare from 151. And there's a lot of colored lines on here and even 2 orange balls and even some writing at the very top. So we're going to go through this, but the biggest call out to me is this card just can't seem to get above that $300 mark. Every time it gets up near $300 where that blue line is, it seems to work its way back down. Now, in the long run, do I think this card's going to hit that $300 mark and eclipse it? I absolutely do, which is why I get so excited where I see it at the $250 mark now. Now, you know, on this channel, every single month, we look at the top 10 cards in terms of sales volume on TCG Player. And what we have done is we have seen that cards that are on that list regularly outperform cards that aren't, simply because there's no better indicator of supply and demand than being bought and sold in the top 10 on TCG Player over a period of time. So I have this call out up here where it says TCG Top 10. This card in the year of 2024 was in the top 10 cards that were bought or sold the most on TCG Player 7 different months. So out of 12 months in 2024, 7 of those months, this card was one of the top 10 cards in terms of buying and selling volume on TCG Player. And here we are in 2025. The year's not even over yet. Granted, we're knocking on the door, but here we are 11 months into 2025, and this card has been featured 8 times. So again, when you think about the demand for this card, it is absolutely through the roof. And when you think about long-term price appreciation opportunities, demand is what's going to drive it. So feel very good about the demand for this card in the long run. The other thing that I feel really good about is if you look at those orange circles that I have on there, you can see that there have been a couple big spikes in buying and selling volume, right? And I like to see that because that means I'm not the only one who thinks that this card is undervalued compared to where it could be, because people are going in. There could be buyouts, could just be a bunch of people buying the same card in the same week for whatever reason. You see, as the price is coming down, you see these big spikes in terms of buying volume. And again, that just lets me feel like I'm not the only one who believes in this, which gives me just some clarity and some strength in the fact that I think long run this card's going to do awesome. The other thing I really like is, as you can see, that purple line that goes across right there, $200 was the last really support line that this card hit, and then it bounced significantly off of that $200 price point. So it looks like it's starting to flatten out a little bit. I wouldn't be surprised if this card starts to hold its water right around $250. The thing that I would really like about that is that this new support line would be significantly higher than the previous support line. And when we talk about the way these cards moves in terms of price increasing over the life cycle of a card, you like to see that stair step, right? You like to see it hit support, then it goes up, then it drops down, then it hits support. The key is that next support line higher than the previous one? This card exhibits all of the characteristics of something that I'd be very, very excited about. And as you know, I'm a big believer in this card, so that's why I wanted to start off with this one. Lots of just, I don't know, lots of macro reasons to think this is an awesome buying opportunity for this awesome Charizard card. Next one on the list, this is Lily's Clefairy. So Journey Together was kind of, I don't know, it launched at a weird time. The market was kind of getting a little soft when it came out. I think that these owners' Pokemon didn't hit quite as hard as everybody thought, but still, this card right here has one appearance throughout the course of this year on that top 10 list. And again, usually I like to see it featured 3 or more times, but at least one goes to show me that when this set came out, people were all about this card, because in April of 2025, this was the number 4 card in terms of buying and selling volume on TCG Player. The other thing I really like about this card is, as you can see, when it originally came out, it dropped pretty significantly, but then it started to find its footing, right? It hit that little support line. Now, the card is continuing to drop, and it hasn't dropped at the support level that it was before, but you can see it's just starting to tail off a little bit. I wouldn't be surprised if this thing starts to flatten out right where it did before in like the 120, 130 range. It's at 136 right now. You know, we'll just have to wait and see, but Lily is a wildly popular trainer, obviously. Clefairy is an absolutely adorable Pokemon. You put both of them together, this is going to be the chase card from Journey Together. I feel pretty strongly that 3 or 4 years from now, this will probably still be the most expensive card in the set. So you add the way that, you know, cards and sets just tend to age over time and prices tend to go up. I love everything about this card. I love the fact that it's reaching its previous support line. So we'll have to see how low it goes, but I think this is a really interesting opportunity to jump in on this Lily's Clefairy card. Next one on the list is the Eevee from Twilight Masquerade. And this is a card, again, when Twilight Masquerade first came out, this card was in like the $40, $50 range. I loved it at that price point. Then, if you remember, spiked all the way up to $100. I remember doing a video and I was like, hey, I love this at 50, 60. I don't love this card at $100. It just didn't make a lot of sense. And then ever since that $100 high, we've seen it slowly work its way back down, right? And now you can see it started to hit that support line right around July, August, September 2025. You can see it started to flatten out right around in that $45, $50 range. I got that purple line going across there. Then it went up a little bit. Now it's starting to work its way back down. The question that I have is it going to get down to the $40, $50 range again? Is it going to start to flatten out a little bit higher than that? Is it going to hold true here at $60? No matter what, I still like this card in the long run. I love the Twilight Masquerade set. It's a very trainer heavy set. We've seen some sets be successful with that in the past, but the trainer, I don't know, the trainer, I won't call it craziness, but the love for the trainer cards and the high prices that are associated with them aren't today what they have been in the past. So I would not be surprised if this Eevee card starts to kind of climb the ranks and ends up as the number 3, number 4 most expensive card in that entire Twilight Masquerade set. And the other thing that I like, again, leveraging data from the past, leveraging other videos that we do, is if you talk about that top 10, you know, highest buying and selling volume at TCG Player videos that we do, in August of 2024, this was the number 1 card. There was not a single card on TCG Player which sold with a higher degree of velocity in August of 2024 than this Eevee card. Then leap forward multiple months. In January of 2025, this card jumped up again, coming in at the number 4 slot. So we have 2 different instances which are separated by a meaningful amount of time where this card was one of the most bought and sold on TCG Player. All of that goes to tell me that people love this card. There's going to be strong demand for it in the future. I love the fact that it's working down near its previous support line. All of those combined to make me think that this could be a really cool opportunity to jump in this gorgeous card. Next one we're talking about is Misty Psyduck, and this is kind of hard because Destined Rivals has only been out 6 months, right? So it's kind of hard to go after these cards, but the thing that I like about this is when you talk about demand, this card absolutely was crushing it out of the gate. Again, the TCG top 10 card video that we do every single month. In June of 2025, this was the number 1 card in terms of buying and selling volume on TCG Player. In July, it was number 2, and then it skipped a month in August. September, it came back and it was the number 8 card in terms of buying and selling volume on TCG Player. We have seen by back testing, we've been doing this top 10 video series for 3 years now. So we back tested the ones from 2024. in 2023, anytime a card is featured 3 or more times throughout the course of a year in that top 10 video series, it outperforms cards that aren't. So the fact that this short amount of time, we've already seen it featured 3 times on there, gives me all kinds of love. Now, I've talked about other cards and how they're dropping down, getting near support lines. This one has broken the previous support line. So this card was stuck pretty well right at that $55 range. You see May, June, July, August, all the way up. It went through a little spike in September. Now it's on the downswing from there, but it's broken its previous support line. So this is the type of card where I'm not going to make any quick moves. I'm going to sit on the sideline. I'm going to pop some popcorn and just watch. But as soon as this thing starts to flatten out, I guarantee you that this is a card I'm going to strongly consider because of all of the reasons that I just said. In the long run, demand is going to be huge. Misty is a wildly... Just think about the Starmie V, right, from Astral Radiance. That Misty card is over $100. I have no doubt Destined Rivals is going to be a better set than Astral Radiance. Hard stop. It's going to be more expensive. It's going to be more in demand. You got another Misty card here with incredible artwork. Like, all of that just tells me in the long run, this card is going to do very, very well. So love this card. Again, love all the intangibles that it brings. So I think this one could be really special in the long run. Next one that we're talking about is Surging Sparks. And I'm a huge fan of Surging Sparks. I've started pulling together some views of Surging Sparks for an upcoming video. And my gosh, I think Surging Sparks is way undervalued right now. I mean, it's almost going for the exact same price from a booster box perspective as Sword and Shield base set. Now, if you fast forward 5 years, which booster box do you think is going to be more valuable? Sword and Shield base set, which I don't think has a card over $40 right now, or Surging Sparks, which is going to have that Pikachu, which is up at $300 right now. It's got the Latias card right now, which is up over $150 right now. Like, the Surging Sparks booster boxes are probably going to be worth more than the Sword and Shield, but the cards aren't acting that way. And I understand that it's only a year old, and I understand there's a lot of it out there right now, but 5 years from now, nobody's going to remember that. And nobody's going to care. This card has phenomenal artwork. And again, it's breaking below its previous support line. I love this card at $25. I'll be the first one to raise my hand and said, hey, listen, when this card was finding support at 25 bucks, I gave several recommendations. Like, I would pick this card up in a heartbeat. Now, it broke that support line. That's just what happens. It's down to $23. The question is, how far is it going to fall? Is it going to fall to 20 bucks and flatten out? Is it going to break into the teens? I can't see it getting into the teens personally, but I've been wrong before. I love this card sub $25. I think in the long run, Surging Sparks is going to catch fire. The set is incredibly awesome, incredibly deep, and I do think that cards like this, so that you're getting just kind of under the radar right now, are going to have a big opportunity for growth. So I was very excited to add this card on here. Next one that we're talking about, we're going to Obsidian Flames. You know, I don't really like those early era sets outside of Paldea Evolve. That's kind of the only one that I really like from those first 4 sets from the Scarlet Violet block. But this Ninetales card was just speaking to me. And the reason I like it is because it already has 2 all-time highs that are significantly above where it is right now. So it's at $20.79. And as you can see, it's had 2 different instances where it was at or above the $30 mark. And you think about Obsidian Flames booster boxes, those are up at like $330, $335 right now. Now, an expensive booster box doesn't necessarily mean that the cards are going to go up in value, but it does tell me that people value the set. It does tell me that people think that the sealed product is going to be a good long-term buy and hold, or else they wouldn't be out there spending $330 on it. Ninetales is a big name Pokemon. This is obviously a stunning card. We have a track record of it being 50% higher than it is today. For all of those reasons, again, I'm going to wait to see when it flattens out. Is it going to start to hit that $15 mark where it did before? I'm not jumping in on it right now, but this is one I am certainly keeping an eye on because, again, the card is awesome. The artwork's amazing. The Pokemon name is big, and the gem rates are abysmally low, which I think in the long run is going to really help these raw cards. So very cool card. Really, it's only up 7% versus where it was a year ago. My gosh, I mean, that is just crazy. You miss all the ups and all the downs. You're only paying plus 7% versus the price it was at a year ago. Absolutely love that for this Ninetales card. Next one that we're talking about, back to Journey Together, and this is the N's Reshiram. Lots of N cards coming out as of late, right? Like, N is getting all kinds of love across all different kinds of sets, and I just think organically it is going to help the card in the long run. I love the fact that this one is sub $15, sitting at $14.27. It has been holding that line for quite a while, and if you look, again, those light blue bars, those represent buying and selling volume. It's been pretty consistently selling about 100 a week. That is a strong degree of demand as far as I'm concerned. So I love the fact that it's been holding there. The only thing that could give us some risk, and again, I'm not 100% sure how this is going to transpire because this is relatively new, is that there is also a stamped version of this. And you know how much Pokemon collectors love stamps. And so this card is sitting at $20, and it's seen some spikes and drops. It's been kind of volatile in terms of pricing, but it really, if you were just to trend line it out like that purple line I have all the way across, this thing has been a $20 card for most of the year. So the fact that it has the stamp, the fact that it was a box topper, the fact that it comes from enhanced booster boxes and not the regular variant, like if it was me, I'm probably going to spend, I don't know, the extra $6 and go for the stamped version. I know that I actually have. I have quite a few of these. I bought a bunch of them. They're still in the cellophane. And I think that this card in the long run is going to do really well. I think Reshiram's obviously a very popular Pokemon and it's obviously a very popular trainer. You know how excited I get when we have current cards that are kind of referencing ones from old previous sets. So I'm a big believer in these. Not the type of cards that I expect to see huge price gains in the short run, but if you're looking for ones to buy and kind of set aside and sit on for a while, I think this card is it. Now, the final one is another card that I feel the exact same way about. This is not something that's going to pop off overnight, but we have seen artwork like this time and time again deliver absolutely incredible results. Okay, so this is from the Elite Trainer box from Paldea Evolved, excuse me. And the thing that I love about this is these Pokemon and Friend type artworks, okay, where you have Pikachu and you have Pikachu featured with a bunch of different Pokemon on there. Over the course of time, they have just crushed it in terms of pricing, and it takes a little while for that to happen. Sometimes you got to wait until the set's 2, 3, 4 years old. But again, you're spending $12 on this card right now. You can already see that a year ago, it was a $2 card. It's up 315% over the last 2 years. So it certainly is not what you were buying it for back in November of 2024. But what you see here is, again, it's starting to flatten out a little bit, starting to find support right at that $12 range. You can see last time it found support was right in the $6 range. So I think if you just have some money and you want to add a couple really cool cards to the old personal collection that could give you some great upside in the long run, I think this is one of them. This was actually one of the most favorite videos I've had the opportunity to pull together here in recent memory. I love doing the deep dives. I love looking for these types of patterns and trends in the data, and I love trying to see different pricing, and I love being able to hook in other videos that we do into current videos today to really galvanize our thoughts on cards and how the prices might move. So with that being said, if you enjoyed the video, if you had fun along the way, hit the subscribe button or give us a thumbs up. I appreciate you so much for watching. And most of all, I hope you have an epic rest of your day. All right, everybody, I'll talk to you soon. See you. Bye.